water back massage by ASMR Massage. I begin just by running my hands along the back, just searching to see if I feel any tension or knots before I begin. Then pick up a water bottle that has been setting in some warm water, and I apply it to my hand before I apply it to the back, so that it's a nice subtle change. Then once the back has become used to the water, I go ahead and start spraying the warm water on the back directly. Then begin to work the shoulders, just stretching the muscles out a bit. Then move down to the lower half of the back and stretch that section out a bit as well. Working lower until I've reached the bottom. And add a bit more water all over the back. To give it a nice layer to work with. Stretching it out just a little bit more, pulling up the upper left shoulder and down at the lower right back, and doing just the opposite. Pulling up on the right shoulder and pushing down on the left portion of the back. Then work those muscles a bit more by the neck. Going down towards the shoulder blade. Then running on both sides of the spine. Giving me a bit more moisture to work with. And continuing on down her back. Then repeating the same motion again with my right hand. Then again with my left. Starting at the top and working my way all the way down to the base of the back. And spraying a little more water, making sure the back never gets too dry. Once again, getting a nice layer of water and rubbing it around with my hands before continuing on to working the lower back and work on the sides a bit, pulling that skin and those muscles up towards the center of the back. And finding a little bit of area of tension, working that area with my thumbs. I begin to do a tapping motion all over the back using just the tips of my fingers, not applying too much pressure, just trying to stimulate all the areas of the back. Then I change to a karate chopping technique, keeping my hands fairly loose. Working randomly all over the back. I then use the palm of my hands and roll over my thumbs to the outside of my hands. I'm using the washcloth that's been sitting in some warm water. Wring it out fairly well. I open it up and I place it on her back, pushing into it to make sure that her back absorbs the heat. Then just using my hand to push into it. After it has cooled just a moment, I take it back off. I take it back in the water to re-warm the washcloth. And this time I put it on the top section of her back, starting at her neck. Then I use my fingers and my hands once again to help press that heat into her back. Carefully roll it back up. Place it into the water once again. And this time I lay washcloth in the center of the back. Repeating some of the same motions, just pressing it into the back. I then warm the washcloth once more. And this time I fold it to help keep that heat in. And I wipe it across the back, starting at the bottom and going up to the top on the left side. And then doing the same thing in the middle and over to the right side. Using a fair amount of pressure. I then continue to use the washcloth. Except this time, I go across the back. Starting on the left side. Pressing deeply, dragging it over all the way to the right side. Starting at the top of the back, slowly working my way all the way down the back. Rewarming the washcloth. Then doing the same motion. Working across the back. Start at the bottom of the back. And I work my way up. All the way to the neck. And then going the reverse direction. Starting on the right, going to the left. I go up and down the back, again with a washcloth. Then take my hand. I just kind of grab some of the water And I draw it over her back. Then use a cupping crawling method. Go up and down her back, using just the base of my hand and the tips of my fingers. Then I use a piano playing technique, using my fingers tips, and very firmly I crawl all around her back. Working in a random motion. I just let my hands glide over the back. Then take this spray bottle once again and spray several inches above the back, letting the water just settle. I gently smooth it out with my fingertips. Touching the area of the back once again before I finish.